too much work, or we went to another house and shoot, this one needed a lot of work too. Okay. And they're like, oh, I don't have the money for it. And then that's where the renovation loan comes in. Okay. One of the biggest things that people don't know about renovation loans is on the 203K product, the FHA one. Okay. You can actually, so let's say, and how these work, right? We'll start from this part too. You get your, you pick out your house. You have to get a contractor's bid on all the work you're going to need to get done on it. So let's say it's, 3-4 things and it's up to 10 grand or 15 grand. The beautiful thing is you can take the purchase price of the house plus the contractor's bid of all the work you're going to do, and then roll it into the loan. Okay. And then what the lender's going to do, like me, is we're going to order an appraisal to make sure the house is valued at a certain value so we can close the loan. But the renovation loan is where you get all the things you want done, and then you build them into the mortgage with the purchase price, so you don't have to pay these out of pocket. And then once you close, let's say a month or two later, then that contractor then has a certain amount of time to get the work done after closing. Okay. And then a month or two later, when your monthly mortgages start, monthly payments start becoming due, and you start making your monthly mortgage payments, what's so cool is you didn't have to pay any of these renovations out of pocket, right? Like on a credit card or cash out of your bank. So the beautiful thing about this FHA 203K loan, one of the biggest things a lot of people don't know, agents, builders, home buyers, is they let you gross up. They let a lender gross up to 110% loan to value. So let's say you're buying a house at 200, right? And you're putting over 20K in repairs into it of renovations, but the house doesn't appraise at 220, right? With the renovation number, that's okay, because FHA lets you gross it up above 100%. To where the house doesn't have to appraise dollar for dollar of these renovations, which is incredible. Okay. So let's say you find a house that's a fixer upper and you don't got the cash for it, and the house is worth a little bit more. Plus you get that cushion of the lender being able to gross up what it's worth above 100% up to 110. You have that leeway there where you can build in these renovations and then have the contractor fix them for you. So you don't have to do the work, and you don't have to pay the money out of pocket. It is such a cool tool. And then that way, if the house is in the area you want, the price range you want, but you didn't have the cash to fix it up, that's where these loans are so powerful, right? Now there's little things and little rules and little, tiny details where you have to work with the lender side by side to where you make sure that you don't trip up on these loans. They're not just like easy as closing in a week or two, but the majority of them, if they're done right with the right lender, you can really get a updated, renovated home in a price range that you were hoping for. And it's so cool. It's like literally these need to be done more, talked about more, and people need to like learn more about them, because I think there's tons and tons and tons of people out there house shopping, but because they haven't looked into this, or their lender either doesn't do them or doesn't want to do them, so they didn't tell them it's a good option. What really kind of is crazy about that is a lot of houses could be under contract right now and getting fixed up to where the clients get the new flooring, or they get the new deck that they wanted. Like even some of these renovation loans allow for a swimming pool. I know it's kind of crazy, but there's just a lot of cool things that you can add in with these renovation loans on top of like repairs. Like if there's some things that are broken on the house and you don't have the means of fixing them, boom, another solution for the renovation loan, right? So a lot of people ask, is there like any like hidden fees or the rate's higher? So there's no like hidden fees, right? Because it's still an FHA loan, still a conventional loan, still a VA loan. So there's not like an extra on top of little sneaky boogeyman fee that comes onto these loans, because there's not. Interest rates though, they are on average a little bit higher, but not much, right? So some people want to know, well, how much higher? You'll have to talk to me about that, but they're not anything crazy like a full % higher or anything like that. They are pretty close. So you don't have to be scared that you're getting charged some really high rate for these, because that's not the case. But it is credit score driven. It is program driven. So there's some, that's where you have to talk with me and talk with a lender and go through your options to see if this is still a great product for you. But I don't want people to be scared of these renovation loans, right? Because they're so incredible. And people are literally getting to buy a house, getting it fixed up, rolling it into the loan, and not having to pay out of pocket for these fixes. And then that could literally have got them the house that they wanted. They just didn't hear about it. So I want to open it up for some questions now. That was kind of a quick overview of renovation financing. But yeah, let's get into some questions, see who's all tuned in here.
You touched on this one, but I do have a question from Joel on TikTok. Are there restrictions on types of renovations that can be financed?
Are there restrictions on some of the types of renovations that can be done?
Yep.
So there's not really like restrictions per se on like what could be done, right? So like, let's say you need the roof repaired or siding or flooring or appliances. So like I would say 90% of what you're going to want done on a house on a renovation side, you can add in as long as it meets the loan to value requirements on a loan, right? So let's say, for example, you're going to do the conventional renovation loan, right? And you're going to this house and it needs this amount of money. Let's just go with a number of $20K of repairs, right? That's what you're going to get done. But then on top of it, you saw some stuff in the basement and you're like, ooh, I want this and this and this. And then the contractor goes, okay, if I add that to the bid here, it's going to be 50 grand total. Okay. So you got a $50,000 contract bid to fix this house up. You're going to buy it for 200. That's the purchase price that the seller's selling it to you for. So you got the 200 purchase price. You got the 50K bid because you added a bunch of extras that you wanted to roll in. If the house is going to appraise for 270, you're good. You should be able to roll all that in. But let's say the house only appraises for 190. Well, no, you're not going to be good now. That scenario won't fly on a renovation loan, okay? Because it's lopsided. So that's where when you do one of these renovation loans, the question of, is there restrictions? The biggest restriction is going to come into play on these renovation loans is that you're not over fixing it up. Like basically you're not overspending, right? There's got to be a within reason. So there's this little balance of, okay, could we do these couple things? And this is where like side by side with your contractor, with your lender, and then if it needs a HUD renovation specialist involved and you guys are working in tandem at the beginning, you're going to have to walk a little slow here, right? So if you're like, hey, could I add this in? Maybe. Could I add this in? Possibly. Okay. But like I said, let's say you're buying the house for 200 now. Let's give another example. You're buying it for 200, but it's probably worth 220, 230. And you're adding in a couple repairs that are going to raise the value of the home, and the appraiser is going to see that. When we order the appraisal at the beginning, the appraiser goes out, checks out the property, also is going to look at the bid and all the stuff you're going to roll into it. And the appraiser comes up with a value of 250 in your repairs plus the house price is 250, and you're doing that FHA 203K where you can gross it up to 110, you're good. You'll be good there. You'll be good to roll in tons of all the stuff you need. There is a little bit of a dance where you're going to have to make sure you don't over roll in stuff like, I don't know, would be a funny example. Let's say you're going to add, this like over the top deck, right? A deck that's like super customized and it's like triple the price of what it should be. Well, you could run into an issue there. So, but that's where when it gets that detailed, you're going to have to work very closely with a lender. But good question though. Do we got another question?
Yeah. Can you use renovation loans for multifamily?
Yes. Oh, Leander asked that. Hey, Leander. Yes. So Leander asked if you can use renovation loans for multifamily properties. Yes, you can. The answer is yes, you can, which is amazing. But if you're buying it and moving into one of the units, so like for the 203K FHA product or the VA product, right? Because both FHA and VA loans require you to live in it as your primary residence. So let's say you're buying a duplex and you're going to move into one of them and rent out the other side. As long as it's your primary residence and you're moving into one of them, that's where a multifamily is still okay. But this isn't for investment properties on an FHA or VA loan because they don't allow those, right? But good question, Leander. How you doing, by the way, man? Been a while since we chatted. Hey, Abram. Hey, Martin. Joshua just logged in. Yeah, anybody's got any questions on renovation loans, feel free to shoot them right now.
This person's wondering if you know of types of renovations that add the most value to a home.
Types of renovations that add a ton of value to a home. I mean, the biggest one where you can add a ton of value in one of these renovation loans is, let's say you're buying a house with an unfinished basement, or let's say like the basement is like half finished and the seller didn't finish the whole basement. You can literally finish a bathroom or a bedroom with the renovation loan, and obviously adding a bathroom or adding a bedroom, so the house now has more bedrooms. That right away off the bat is going to add value to the home of more of what it was worth than what it's currently worth, right? Let's say it's a 2-bed, 1-bath, and the basement's unfinished, and now you're going to renovate it, and in the loan you're going to make it now a 4-bed, 2-bath. Boom! That appraiser is going to see that bid, see what you're doing, run the value of the home, and go, oh wow! After these renovations, I'm comping it with these comps in the area because it's going to add the value. And then the new value is going to show up on the appraisal. And that's where you're going to have like a huge come up, in my opinion, right? Once again, a little bit delicate song and a dance, but if you're adding bedrooms and bathrooms, or like adding a deck or adding something really onto the property, that's a huge selling point. That's how you add value to a home a lot quicker. Good question. Anybody wants to log in and be a guest and ask me a question live time on video, I'm open to that too, right? Anybody wants to ask any questions at all? We're talking about renovation financing. One of the most untalked about home loans in America right now. And the honest truth is, I just think a lot of people are scared of them. A lot of people don't know them. And a lot of people aren't that educated on them, so they want to stay away from them. It's a huge. Got another question?
Yep. How does the appraisal process work for these?
So who asked that question?
I have that on YouTube from Jennifer.
So Jennifer from YouTube just asked, how does the appraisal process work? And we kind of touched on it earlier in the call here, but I'll reiterate it again to answer the question of how does the appraisal process work on renovation loans? Works just like this. Pretty similar to a regular appraisal process on a regular home loan. So it works like this. The lender is going to require the purchase agreement up front. Then they're also going to require the contractor's bid to identify, and the contractor's bid has to be detailed with all the work and how much it's going to cost. Then us as a lender, we're going to take the purchase agreement and the bid from this third-party contractor that's licensed and approved to do the work. And then we're going to submit that to the appraiser, order the appraisal. Then the appraiser goes out to the property, reviews the property top, bottom, goes back, finishes the report, and then they're going to try to determine the work you're going to have done on it and all the renovations and or repairs with the bid plus the purchase price. Then that appraiser is going to determine what the value of the home is going to be after the renovations. Okay. And then what happens is as long as that comes back good, and then the lender and the underwriting approves it, being like, okay, we're at the good loan to value that we need to be, we'll close the loan. And then now that contractor has a certain amount of time, months, to get the work done. And then once the work's done, then the lender's going to require the appraiser to go back out and show that the contractor did finish all the work before the contractor can get fully paid. And then after the appraiser goes back out to do like the final inspection, but the loan is already closed by then, right? The home buyer has already owned the property, got the keys to the property. The lender closed the loan, and then there's this window of time where all the work now needs to get done, which is so cool, right? But yeah, that's how the appraisal process works. Good question though, Jennifer. Any more questions out there?
What's your favorite question?
We got my favorite question coming up. Are you ready?
Interest rates.
Oh, that's kind of funny. Okay, I did just answer that. Who asked that question?
Went away. It blocked up and went. Let me see if I can call back up.
That's okay. Anyway, guys, we got a question out there that somebody just asked. What are the interest rates on renovation loans? And I did already answer this, but I'll answer it again. Okay. I answered it about 10 minutes ago. So interest rates on renovation financing are just a little bit higher than normal loans. So you can figure like on a normal FHA loan, non-doing renovation, and now you're going to be doing an FHA renovation 203K loan. The rate is just a little bit higher, not much higher though. And to know what, and like quoting you exact rates, it does come down to credit score, right? And then if you're doing the FHA versus the conventional versus the VA versus the rural development USDA loan. So the rates do vary on the per loan product of renovation plus your credit score. That determines the rate a little bit. But, you know, on average, if it's within a half a point, it's not that much higher. So don't be scared that the rate's like way higher or anything like that. And it is 30-year fixed, which is great. So it's still just a regular FHA conventional VA or USDA loan. The rate's just a smidge higher. So I hope that answers your question. Hey, Lauren. Hey, Derek.
I don't see any others. You just had a little follow-up from Leander there on TikTok.
Nice. Looks like Dylan just signed in. We've covered a lot of good stuff, guys. We've been on for almost 20 minutes talking about these amazing renovation loans. We went over rates, the appraisal process, the types of renovation loans. You can do them as a purchase or a refinance, which is so cool. You know, the main thing is if you are interested in renovating your current house or renovating a new house to where you don't have to pay out of pocket for all these renovations, just reach out, right? We can run the numbers. Maybe it's not the best for you, and I'll tell you that. You know, we'll run the numbers, but maybe it's exactly what you needed. You just didn't hear about these. And not all lenders can offer these renovation loans. I'd say maybe a little over half of the lenders in the country can do them. So it's not like the most talked about loan, but it's been around for a long time. And all these programs have as well too. And they're amazing, and they're just a tool, right? So if you're curious about them, worst case, you look into it, doesn't work for you. At least we chatted about it. So feel free to ask me any more questions after this live, and I'll be around. So DM me, text me, call me, and we'll put the link down below. But have a good day, guys. We're off to go get some loans done. Talk to y'all soon. Bye.